What if your depression isn't a sign of failure, but a quiet proof that your soul is still alive, still dreaming, still longing, still resisting a world that wants you numb? What if the pain you carry is not weakness but evidence of your depth? In a world obsessed with positivity and performance, there's little room for quiet sorrow. Depression is pathologized, medicated, hidden. But underneath the dull ache of it lies something more human than most dare to admit, a sense that something vital is missing. You wake up tired not just in body but in soul. You scroll, you numb, you distract. Every joy feels muted, every effort empty. People tell you to cheer up, stay grateful, get out more. But these words land hollow. Because this isn't about sadness, that it's about the unbearable tension between who you are and who the world demands you to be. It's about carrying a sensitivity too large for the noise of modern life. It's not that you're broken, it's that you feel too much in a world that feels too little. Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher often called the father of existentialism, understood depression not as an illness of the weak but as a deep moral and spiritual crisis. He called it the sickness unto death, not death of the body but of the self. To Kierkegaard, depression was a form of despair. And despair, he wrote, is not simply suffering, it's a failure to become oneself. The greatest hazard of all, losing oneself, can occur very quietly in the world as if it were nothing at all. He saw in despair the tragic contradiction of being human, the desire to be infinite, to matter, to have purpose trapped inside the limits of time, body, and culture. The person who is depressed, Kierkegaard believed, suffers precisely because they care. Not everyone despairs. Some avoid it entirely by dissolving into the crowd, losing themselves in busyness or distraction. But the one who feels depression? That person still has a soul that refuses to disappear. Depression is not always loud. Often, it's a slow withdrawal, a quiet refusal to participate in a world that feels hollow. It is, in many ways, a rebellion of the soul. When life becomes a series of tasks, when joy is reduced to content consumption and identity to social media profiles, something deep within us begins to protest. This protest isn't dramatic. It's subtle: fatigue, disinterest, a loss of desire. But behind it lies a deeper truth, that your inner life has become incompatible with the outer performance. Kierkegaard would say this is the self crying out, "I cannot live like this anymore." Not in lies, not in shallowness, not in borrowed ambitions. So the soul retreats. And in this retreat, depression arises not to punish but to protect. It's your deepest self staging a slow revolt, demanding something truer, something more whole. Here's the paradox no one talks about. Often the most depressed people are those who try hardest to be good. They are the sensitive ones, the ones who carry everyone else's pain. The ones who smile through the weight. Why? Because to care deeply in a careless world is exhausting. To hold yourself to impossible moral standards, to always be kind, responsible, thoughtful without boundaries, can leave you empty. Kierkegaard saw this clearly. He warned against the danger of becoming lost in the service of others, while neglecting the self. It is the duty of the human soul to become itself, he said, not to become what others demand. Many who suffer quietly do so because they confuse pleasing others with being good. But true goodness begins in truth. And truth often means disappointing people, breaking roles, speaking up, stepping away. Depression, in this light, becomes not a failure but a signal that your goodness has turned against you, and must be reclaimed through honesty. Here is the paradox. Only those with a strong sense of self, of value, of conscience are capable of true despair. Depression, then, is not proof that something is wrong with you. It may be the clearest sign that something is deeply right. You are not numb to life, you are overly attuned to it. The pain is not a malfunction but a message. Kierkegaard's insight offers a profound shift. Instead of trying to silence despair, we must listen to it. Despair is the misrelation in the relation of a self to itself. Your suffering is a sign that yourself has become split, that the person you are, and the person you were meant to become, are no longer aligned. And the depression? It's the space between. The ache of distance between your potential and your reality. This is not a curse. It's a calling. So what do we do with this calling? Kierkegaard says we must re-relate to ourselves. We must stop pretending, stop running, and stand face to face with our despair. This is the beginning of becoming a true self. He called this the journey of becoming a single individual, a life not defined by crowd thinking or superficial identity, but by honest inwardness. The first step is honesty, to name the despair, to stop hiding from the truth that something inside you is grieving. Depression isn't solved by self-help hacks. It is understood through self-confrontation. Ask, what part of me have I abandoned? What dreams did I trade for approval? What self did I bury to survive? Next comes faith, not religious dogma, but what Kierkegaard called the leap. A willingness to live forward into the unknown, into freedom without guarantees. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. The work is painful. It involves loss. But what is being lost is not you, it's the false self, the mask. And what is found beneath is a person worthy of the pain it took to get there. In today's world, depression is often managed but rarely understood. Kierkegaard challenges us to approach it not as a problem to fix, but as a path to follow. Instead of asking, how do I stop feeling this way? Ask, what is my soul trying to tell me? Begin with silence, not the silence of suppression, but the silence of listening. A 10-minute daily practice of journaling or reflection can uncover the voice beneath the noise. Secondly, reduce falsehood. Where in your life are you pretending? Where are you performing instead of being? Even small acts of truth, ending a dishonest friendship, saying no, telling someone how you really feel, begin the healing. Your depression may not lift overnight, but it can become sacred. It can become a teacher. It can become the first honest step toward yourself. The most common form of despair is not being who you are, Kierkegaard wrote. So if you're depressed, perhaps it means you haven't yet given up on being real. The darkness you feel isn't the absence of light. It's the pressure of light not yet born. Hold it gently. Walk through it slowly. And remember, you are not weak for feeling it. You are simply alive enough to notice what hurts. And maybe, just maybe, the fact that you still ache means you haven't gone numb. That there's still something inside you waiting to bloom. Depression isn't the end of your story. It's the prologue to your return, the quiet before the rebuilding, the darkness that proves a light still wants to be born through you. If this resonated with you, you're not alone and you're not broken. Subscribe, share, and join this growing community of thoughtful seekers. We're not here to escape the struggle, but to understand it and to grow through it together. Let your pain be your path. Let your soul speak.